Good Wednesday morning, everyone. It's the 23rd of July. You're coming back to the Kaiser Report. I'm here with Kaiser on the couch one more time to bring you some news and a satirical look at some of the things that are going on in and around our nation and in some cases parts of the world that are in the news today. So, it's going to be a very, very warm situation around most of the eastern part and southern part of the country today, in the 90s and in some cases approaching 100. So keep in mind, if you're out and about today, to have plenty of water with you, stay hydrated, and please, if you're passing someone that is unfortunate enough to be in the streets at this particular time of year when it's very hot like this, maybe you have an extra bottle of water you can leave this person, and don't walk away from them or cross the street because they're in the street. They can be dehydrated and sickened just as same as you can. They're just a little less fortunate in having their hands on water. So keep that in mind as you're passing by in the streets today. There are a lot of people that are less fortunate than we, and we need to remember to say a prayer that they will get a chance back in life once these jobs appear and people can go back to work and once again be relevant after suffering through some bad times that we are not going to bring up right now. We all are aware of what happened in the last 4 years, so why hammer a nail back into that board? But the hearings, by the way, that are going on in our government with regard to the last 4 years, they're talking to the Biden staff members now. They had Jill's personal assistants and I guess handlers on yesterday, which both pleaded the Fifth Amendment. They didn't want to talk or answer simple questions that could have been easily answered, but they decided that on advice of counsel, they chose not to perjure themselves, actually, I guess, is what they were trying to avoid. Whether or not we continue to waste money on trying to find out what actually happened when we all, anyone with a modicum of sense at all, saw what happened and understand what happened, and whether or not they want to come clean about it, that's like asking Obama to come clean about what they're finding out about him. We'll talk about that in a little bit here on this show today. But let's take a look at the synopsis of the hearings that took place yesterday right here.
Can the reporter please swear in the witness?
Sure. Sir, would you please raise your right hand to be sworn? Do you solemnly declare and affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
All right.
And here we go.
Mr. Bernal, was President Joe Biden fit to exercise the duties of the president?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Mr. Bernal, did any unelected official or family member of President Joe Biden execute the duties of the presidency?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Let the record reflect that Mr. Bernal has invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Mr. Bernal.
I get up in the morning and look at Jill and say, where the hell are we?
Can the reporter please swear in the witness?
Will you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly declare and affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Okay, let's try this again.
Ms. Tomasini, have you ever conspired with anyone in the White House to hide information regarding the Biden family's business dealings?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Ms. Tomasini, did Joe Biden, a member of his family, or anyone at the White House ever instruct you to lie regarding his health at any time, including but not limited to in your testimony to Congress today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer the question pursuant to my Fifth Amendment rights under the Constitution.
Let the record reflect that Ms. Tomasini has invoked the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination.
Think about that.
A few moments later.
Well, unfortunately, that was quick. This is the second witness that we've brought in via subpoena for a deposition that has pled the Fifth, and they've stated they're not going to answer questions. I want to read the first two questions. Just so everyone knows, these are the types of questions we asked. Was Joe Biden fit to exercise the duties of the president? He pled the Fifth. Second question, did any unelected official or family member execute the duties of the presidency? And this is Joe Biden's chief of staff. Did any unelected officials or family members ever execute the duties of the presidency? Simple question. He knew he was going to be asked that. Everybody in America wants to know that. He pled the Fifth. So we're going to continue our investigation.
Larry, if we make an effort today, we might be able to save all.
They're not going to get any further. They're just going to waste more money and more time of our sitting lawmakers sitting there trying to grill these people when they're not going to get any straightforward answers, because in some cases there are either not any answers to have, or it's so incriminating that it will cause them to have a problem in their life, and God forbid that that should happen. When you do something wrong, you should pay the consequences. Oh, wait, this government, you get away with everything you want because there are no consequences. There's no consequences for anything anymore. We can find out they were guilty of this, that, and the other thing, but nothing ever comes of it. So why waste the time and money having hearings that are not going to go anywhere? There are no consequences for these people. You get a laugh when you look at the TV and say, oh, that's it. You find that out, but no one pays for their mistakes. It's not a good situation. But speaking of situations, let's look into what slick Barack Hussein Obama. He should be really sweating it out right now over the uncoverings that are coming out and the whistleblowers that are coming forward. He made some kind of a slide into a excuse yesterday. Oh, it's all untrue. Well, it's too much, and too much coming out that has now exposed him for the fake that he really is. And it's also exposing Hillary as being the architect of all of this 2016 Russia nonsense. And when this hits the fan, it should be pushed into our Justice Department and our AG for consideration of some sort of retribution, you would think. But we'll see what happens with that. But if I were Mr. Slick there, Obama, I would be a little concerned now that his signature is coming out on some of this nonsense. He's going to try to step away from it. You know that. You know that there's going to be, some sort of lawyering up here that's going to stall it off at least, and try to buy 3 years of it, this administration going away with the hope that they're going to get back in power and then put a damp blanket over everything one more time that we have lived through with the Democratic Party in every turn of events where there's been guilt to be had. But let's take a look at what's going on with Mr. Obama.
And it all started back in 2016. And it wasn't just to keep him from winning the election in 2016. It was to undermine his presidency after he had already won. I want you to think of 3 dates in the interim between Election Day and Inauguration Day back in 2016, 2017.
Sheriff, he's over here.
December 9th, Obama calls a meeting in the White House. All the intelligence community is there, plus the Justice Department. You got Lynch, you got Comey, you got Clapper, you got Brennan. They're all there. Obama says, we're not going to go with the intelligence community assessment. We're going to put that on hold. And they put together a new one.
And also,
3.5 weeks later, January 3rd, Chuck Schumer's on one of the Sunday shows, and he says, if you mess with the intelligence community, talking to President-elect Donald Trump, if you mess with the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday to get back at you.
Oh, my God.
3 days later, Sean, 3 days later, January 6th at Trump Tower, the intelligence community, Comey, Brennan, Clapper, go up there to give President Trump what he believes is the defensive briefing all incoming presidents get. So he's expecting just the normal briefing. Instead, it's a setup.
Now it's getting interesting.
They go up there and brief him, and then they tell him about the dossier that they already know is false. And then it gets leaked to the press, and thereby giving it credibility when the press reports.
Oh, my God.
That Jim Comey, FBI director, briefed Donald Trump on the Russian dossier. It was all garbage.
What?
Well, it's hard to believe that no one pays for anything anymore. There, you can go and clean out a grocery store and get away with it without any ramifications at all. There's no justice anymore unless it's for someone on the right speaking their mind. Then you'll see a Justice Department probably headed up by Letitia James that'll come after you. But nothing for them. We know what they pulled off in New York with the scam trial that took place there against Donald Trump. So we'll see where it goes. But I have no high hopes of seeing anyone have consequences for what's being found out. And it just solidifies my feelings that the 2020 election was a little bit rigged by the same people that we're talking about here. So that brings us back out to the West Coast in L.A. The mayor does not think before she talks to an interviewer or a news person. She just takes the talking points of Gavin Newsom, I guess, out there, who is, this guy is just unbelievable what he's done to the state of California. And now you look at the right coast where New York is going the same way. And if this mayoral candidate there ever gets in power, there's some serious problems in New York. You'll see a little bit of that here in Stupid Town today when we exit in there. But it's hard to believe. Let's take a look at the L.A. mayor.
$3.8 million people, and about 50% of our population is Latino. And so when the raid started, fear spread like a virus around the entire county.
Is there anything good you think the administration has done in these 6 months at the border?
Well, I will heap praise on the administration for the first 6 months in Los Angeles with the fires. If you ask me, is there anything that they have done good in terms of immigration? I don't know. I don't think so.
You're batshit crazy.
I think that the viewpoint has been punitive, has been, let's make it as miserable as possible so that these people don't come.
And whatever they're doing is certainly working at the border itself. We were down on that border, and it is dramatically different than it was a year ago.
What? So what did you just say?
It is dramatically different than it was a year ago.
I think maybe it's just like a mistake, right?
She is a real piece of work. But I think she's just carrying a party line handed down to her by people that she has to answer to. And that'll bring us into CNN, that were actually stunned in amazement when the Medicaid thing was explained to them. They were astonished. Let's take a look at this.
Well, I don't think these things are mutually exclusive. I think you can cut taxes or make the tax cuts permanent and add other tax cuts for working class Americans. Yeah! I think you can do necessary welfare reform. I think you can invest in the southern border and border security, which this bill is doing. And then you can also pay attention to spending. Now, Pete's right. I mean, some of this bill doesn't get to the mandatory spending, and ultimately of the federal budget right now, like 21% of it is discretionary and the rest is just mandatory spending. So you got to tackle that down the road. This isn't a spending bill. It's a reconciliation bill, and it's largely a tax bill that makes the tax cuts permanent, adds tax cuts for working class Americans. On the Medicaid piece, though, there's obviously going to be a big debate about this. I mean, there are like almost 5 million people on Medicaid who simply choose not to work. They spend 6 hours a day socializing and watching television. And if you can't get off grandma's couch and work, I don't want to pay for your welfare.
I don't know where you're getting those numbers. CBO says there are 5 million Americans who are sitting on their couch watching television and TV.
Regardless, this kicks 17
that you just cited.
This kicked 17 million people off of.
False.
The 17 million people.
The numbers that we have.
Well, give me the numbers.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Well, we've been telling you all along that no one has been harmed by the Medicaid cutbacks except for the people who are on it because they're illegally on it. In other words, illegal aliens or undocumented people that were getting on it or having it handed to them. And then you have a whole bunch of people that decided that they don't want to work anymore when we have so many jobs that need to be filled for this new economy that's going to take place, the new building that is going to take place. All of the trades are trying to find people. I'll give you an example. I took a car in for service just yesterday. And they had a heck of a time. They're down to only 2 technicians and 1 service writer because they can't hire anybody that wants to work anymore or is qualified for an auto mechanic. And when you look under the hood of a car today, you know, I worked on cars all my life, my own vehicles. I've restored older cars, and these are cars that you could actually work on. But today, with all the advent of the computerization of the cars that are produced today, everything is a specialized thing. You cannot do it without the training, without the proper expensive computers it takes to get in there and figure out exactly what the problem is and so forth. But they can't hire anybody. No one wants to go into the trades anymore. And I urge young people that may or may not be listening to this platform or other platforms to get into some training, and you can make a great living as a mechanic, as a welder, as an auto body individual, or a plumber or an electrician. These people are making a good living. They have unions that will take care of you. They have everything going for it but the people interested in going back to work with their hands. Not everybody can sit behind a computer in a cubicle or get a liberal arts degree and hope that somebody will hire them to paint a picture and sell it to make a living. That's not going to happen. And if you're in college to learn politically orientated way in life, stop. Go out and work with your hands, learn something, and put your knowledge into helping America be great again. It's on its way, folks. All we need is people to understand that to go to work will make you feel better. Video games and living in a fantasy land like the Democrats would like you to live in, and sitting there thinking about whether or not you want to, even get up in the morning is not healthy. And if you're going to make America healthy again, it starts with the desire to go out and add something to society, add something to your own psyche that makes you feel good. And when you go out and work hard and spend a day doing what you love to do, you won't work. You'll feel better. So find something, a trade to get into that you can support a family, buy a home, and live the middle-class life that used to be a preferred lifestyle in this country. And that'll bring us to an exit here, the exit to Stupid Town. So hang on while we take a right-hand turn on this exit.
Yesterday, I was at a food bank in my district talking about the SNAP cuts, the horrible SNAP cuts and Medicaid cuts. And they told me that people are not even showing up to Head Start where they get their food. They're not showing up to the food banks because they're afraid.
Oh, that's terrible.
And it's not just undocumented immigrants. It is people of all legal statuses. It's undocumented immigrants who have been here for 20 years.
People are not even showing up to Head Start where they get their food because they're afraid. It's undocumented immigrants who have been here for 20 years.
Our Statue of Liberty, that ultimate symbol of freedom. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free.
Send me your poor, your deadbeats, your filthy, and all the nations sent them in here. They come swarming in like ants.
It's unbelievable.
The only reason this guy is being appointed to this position is he handles Trump's dirty laundry. At the DOJ, Bovee weaponized the department.
Weaponized the department.
Well spoken. As Senate Republicans spend time jamming through Trump's henchmen, and House Republicans seek to get out of town to stop the bleeding in their caucus by the Epstein files' hypocrisy and cover-up.
Steve, did you call me Sturgis?
It's no wonder over 75 bipartisan former state and federal judges joined together to oppose Bovee's nomination. The nomination.
Where have I heard that word before?
The Senate should confirm and without delay, without excuse, send the nomination to my desk.
Send the nomination to my desk.
Doesn't that blow your mind?
Well, that's it for Stupid Town today, and I'm hoping that you all have a wonderful, blessed rest of this Wednesday. May God be with you, and also pray for the leaders of the world that they come to their senses, stop the ridiculous wars, stop the ridiculous programs that are taking place in some of the countries in Europe and the like. So remember, stay safe, stay strong, and stay tuned to the Kaiser Report for more satire, news, and a look at the ridiculous.